Crisis tested a nation. Sacrifice endured.
From shutdown to stand tall again. Honor remembered. Unity restored.
From veterans to victory. In theaters now.
A political betrayal so shocking even CNN can't spin it. One of the Democrats' rising stars just lit a match and torched his own party on national television. What he revealed about their secret strategy will certainly make your blood boil, and the timing right as their leader hits rock bottom with the worst numbers in American history. You need to see what happens next, because this is not just another Washington soap opera. When a party implodes this spectacularly, real Americans pay the price. 42 million citizens on food assistance were used as pawns. Our military families went without paychecks, all because Democrats thought they could break the Republican resistance and force their radical agenda down our throats. But something snapped. The very senator they groomed as their future just exposed their entire game plan. And while they're eating each other alive on Capitol Hill, working families are discovering something that they haven't felt in years: real economic hope. Trump's team is delivering actual results, rising incomes, shrinking deficits, and prosperity returning to Main Street. And the contrast couldn't be clearer. One side is self-destructing in real time. The other is rebuilding American prosperity. And as we wrap up 2025, it is time to reflect. We've learned uncertainty isn't temporary, it's permanent. Waiting for normal isn't a plan. Our friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves for over a decade by diversifying with gold and silver. Now, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but in uncertain worlds, real wealth isn't digital, it's physical, it's lasting in yours. When you're with your family this holiday season, remember, the best gift isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers. Peace of mind, 1 ounce at a time. So before year's end, take one smart step towards a safer future. Visit nextnewsgold.com for your free wealth protection kit today. That's nextnewsgold.com. Don't leave your future to chance. And if you want those 10 1-ounce silver holiday coins, call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. But here's where it gets really wild. While Fetterman was destroying his party on live TV, leftist protesters were literally storming Democrat senators' offices, screaming about the betrayal. Van Jones looked like he'd seen a ghost trying to explain the collapse. Even Ocasio-Cortez went silent. And the numbers? Schumer's approval just hit the lowest point for any senator since 1985. That's not a red wave, it's a crimson tsunami. Meanwhile, Trump's economic team is floating checks to American families and mortgage plans that would transform home ownership forever. And then we have Governor Pritzker, my own governor, getting slammed as a disgrace after raging that air traffic controllers and the troops and federal employees will now get paid. This guy is actually angry that people in the government are going to get paid again. He says he's disappointed.
I may, on Senator Durbin's vote on Sunday, can you give us your first reaction on camera to that vote, and what should we make of the fact that the 7 Democrats and 1 independent are either not running imminently or retiring from office?
I have enormous respect and always have for Senator Durbin. I disagree with his vote. I do not think that the 8 members of the Senate that voted the way that they did should have done that. I think that we had an opportunity to make sure that we were protecting people's health care across the nation. But for whatever reason, those members decided to vote the way that they did. I'm disappointed. I think that more could have been done here, but there is another opportunity in January, and we'll see what happens.
Did you hear what he just said?
Do you want Senator Durbin?
He said there's another opportunity in January to shut the government down. He's like, yeah, we'll just wait till January. We'll do this all over again. That's your Democrat Party right there.
To endorse your Senate candidate, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, or is this endorsement tainted?
I'm not going to speak to that here. I'll just say that I have worked with Senator Durbin over the years. He's a good person. He tries to do the right thing. I don't agree with what he did last Friday, or a couple of days ago, I guess. I don't agree with what he did, but I respect him, and I'm also, as many of you know, I believe that Juliana Stratton is the right person to replace him in the United States.
Okay, whatever, dude. Whatever. Let's check in with John Fetterman. He went on The View And every time he goes on The View, it just doesn't end well for them. Nicole Silverio. John Fetterman doesn't take Sunny Hostin's lecture. She tried to shame him for voting multiple times to reopen the government. Check this out.
Wrong. It was a horrific mistake. Governor Gavin Newsom called it pathetic and a surrender. Wow. Poll after poll found more Americans on both sides of the aisle blaming Republicans. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene blamed the GOP. As you mentioned, Democrats had big wins last
No. She blamed both parties. Okay.
Week. So you had momentum. Why give in now? Why bring a butter knife to a gunfight? Are you willing to gamble that the GOP will negotiate on health care in good faith once the government reopens? Because if that gamble is wrong, 500,000 Pennsylvanians that you represent, their health care costs will skyrocket if you are wrong. And I believe you are wrong.
Wow.
Well, first of all, MTG is quite literally the last person in America that I'm going to take advice or to get their kinds of my leadership and values from. And now if Democrats are celebrating crazy pants like that, then that's on them. And now I don't need a lecture. I don't need a lecture from whether it's Bernie or the governor in California, because they are representing very deep blue kinds of populations. And a lot of those things were part of the extreme. And now remember, what really needs to win, the big win, is involving my state and other states and those things. And why have we arrived here after the election a year ago? We got to forget some of the things that cost us that election. Or now, for me, it's like, that's why I'm trying to remind people that kinds of the extremism, we can't return to those kind of things and realize we need to find a way forward. And I would like to, rather than cite MTG, I'm going to cite one of the new governor-elects saying that my election is not a green light to continue the shutdown, because I promise you, this isn't a political game. It is viewed by many of us, but the reality is 42 million Americans now not sure where their next meal is going to come from, and because we vote like that, or people that haven't been paid for 5 weeks now, and that kinds of chaos. Those workers have to borrow more than $500 million, from their credit union just to pay their bills now. So for me, we're in the middle of this.
Senator, I got to ask you to hold up a...
She wants to interrupt him because he's on a roll. President Trump today honoring our heroes on Veterans Day, saying our heroes have lived through unthinkable nightmares so we can live the American dream. And today we know without any doubt in our hearts that after 2.5 centuries, America stands tall because Americans' veterans stood tall. President Trump honoring our veterans at Arlington National Cemetery with selfless commitment and unyielding conviction.
Shielded and protected by a special cast of citizens who has stepped forward to safeguard liberty's cause. When danger came, when duty called, when Almighty God asked, who had the will and the strength to defend the land of the free, each and every American veteran stood up and said, "Here I am, send me, here I am." They've come from every corner of this nation, from the cornfields of Iowa to the hills and valleys of California, from the steel towns of Pennsylvania to the vast plains of Texas, from the banks of the mighty Mississippi to the 5 boroughs of New York City. With selfless commitment and unyielding conviction, they made themselves America's ramparts and became the shield between our homeland and those who would do us harm. With everything they had, they did one thing above all else. They put America first.
Amen. Our veterans put America first, but the Democrats certainly didn't do that. NEC Director Hassett, people's incomes are so much higher right now. A reporter says, what's more likely, a $2,000 tariff rebate check or a 50-year mortgage? Listen.
Well, I think that they're both really good ideas. The fact is that we've got a big reduction in the deficit. And the interesting thing is that it's not just because of tariff revenue. We've had a big positive shock to income taxes as well because people's incomes are so much higher. And so back in the summer when we were saying that for now, let's think of the tariff revenue as something that reduces the deficit, there's more room even for deficit hawks to think about rebate checks like the president talked about, because we've actually done such a good job cutting spending, and the supply side effects, the Laffer curve effects of the tax cuts have actually made revenues go up. We're up about $200 billion relative to last year in revenue as well. So it makes room for it. And in terms of the 50-year mortgage, the bottom line is that it would reduce the monthly payment. We've got a real problem in America that too few people are getting that first home, and the age of first-time home buyers has gone up by about 10 years over just the last few. And so President Trump is really focused like a laser beam on trying to come up with something that addresses that.
Let's get the housing market on fire again. Oh, and we have this. An enraged leftist storming into Senator Kane's Virginia office demanding to meet him regarding voting to reopen the government.
So then I made my way into Kane's. Hi. I spent about a couple hours trying to call this morning, and y'all didn't pick up. So then I drove an hour and a half to be here. So now I'd like to meet with my senator, please. So I'll wait whenever he's ready. Well, he should find time because he is a traitor. He should find time. No, I'll wait. It's okay.
We can't guarantee
Is he in here right now, or is he on the floor? Or is he selling 55,000 people a year to die?
Wow. We get a member of our staff.
No, I want to speak with my senator who just voted to kill 55,000 people a year.
Oh, really? Is that what he did?
Can I speak to someone who's not an intern, please?
We're not actually interns. We can get a member of the staff to come.
Well, no, I'm going to chat with the senator, but you can get a member of staff. If you're a member of staff, then you should be able to set up for me.
Looks like Karen went right to the manager's office. Oh, they can't stand it. Oh, my goodness, you voted to reopen government, and you killed 55,000 people.
You said people gonna die?
That's what she said, Jar Jar. Comrade Ocasio, moving on up. It's not a good thing, but it's coming. That's what Juanita Broadwick just posted. Holy smokes. CNN is shocked after learning Chuck Schumer's approval rating is the lowest in decades. The least popular guy for a Democrat Senate. Listen.
Dem Senate. How are Democrats feeling overall about Schumer? We've seen a lot of comments from some House Democrats, but what about overall?
What about Democrats nationwide feeling about Chuck Schumer? I think the word of the day is terrible, 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 terrible. To quote another Charles Barkley when it comes to Chuck Schumer, look at this. Least popular Dem Senate leader ever. I looked at all of the polls going all the way back since 1985. The one who has the lowest rating among Democrats is, in fact, Chuck Schumer. Look at this. He's underwater with Democrats. His own party, he's underwater. He's at -4 points. That makes him the least popular guy for a Dem Senate leader going all the way back since the mid-1980s at least.
Do you have a sense of why?
Why? It's because Democrats, they want a fighter. That's why. Take a look here. Dems in Congress do too little to oppose Trump. During the first term, it was just 46% in 2017. That's the percentage of Democrats who said that the Dems in Congress are doing too little to oppose Donald Trump. Look at where we are now. 69%. That is an increase of, get this, 23 points. The super duper majority of Democrats believe that the Democrats in Congress are not doing enough to oppose Donald Trump. And that, of course, is a big, huge criticism of Chuck Schumer. And that is why he is underwater.
I knew.
So even holds the government hostage isn't good enough for them. They want even more. Unbelievable, these Democrats, so delusional.
Dangerous
concept. They want more.
The dip. All right.
I always do the dip. I need my exercise in the morning.
There has been talks of a challenge to Schumer. What are you saying on that front? Who looks like they're in place to do it?
Okay, so you see this opening slide here, and you see, of course, that Chuck Schumer is underwater with Democrats nationally. But, of course, the ultimate way to get Chuck Schumer out of office is to beat him in New York State. So how do New York State Democrats feel about Chuck Schumer? And take a look here. The net favorable among New York Democrats. Chuck Schumer is above water with the Democrats in his home state, but just by 16 points. Look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez running way ahead. If she decides to challenge Chuck Schumer and come 2028, she's got a real leg up on the competition. I dare say at this point she would be the favorite to beat him, which would be something that would just blow my mind, even just a few years ago, given that Chuck Schumer, of course, is a New York born and bred type of guy.
Yeah, those are incredible.
Look at that, 30 points ahead. My goodness gracious.
That's a lot. All right, Harry Enten, you're always 100% ahead of the curve.
Are you seeing this? AOC 30 points ahead of Schumer. She could be a senator very soon. That's terrifying. That is terrifying to consider. Oh man, with these new elections coming up, oh boy. Fetterman wasn't done though. He made the rounds today on the press, excoriating his own party for crossing a red line, by refusing to pay the troops and starving Americans.
Over the, I mean, so relieved. I think my party crossed a line of now putting 42 million Americans with their SNAP benefits and making flying less safe and that kinds of chaos and not paying our military. I mean, that was a red line for me that I can't cross as a Democrat. And I think that's been described country over the party. And now that I think that's been the truth throughout it. And it's only wrong to shut our government down. And I'm relieved. But the people now that are going to get paid and fed and millions of Americans, they're going to be flying now. That's going to be made more safe and restored. I mean,
wow,
so
man.
relieved.
Fetterman just blows my mind every time I see him in the press. CNN confirming Schumer has the worst approval ratings in years. Fetterman slamming the party on Fox News, making the rounds. Representative Nancy Mace, 9 hours ago, post Schumer led Senate Democrats straight off a cliff. The headline on Fox News, Senate Democrats cave, open path to reopening government. Fetterman, my party crossed a line. Scott Jennings, 12 hours ago, posting, last night someone startled to hear a member of Congress say a judge can compel the executive to spend money that hasn't been appropriate. I think maybe they want kings after all. Scott Jennings, CNN.
Do you believe as a member of Congress, a judge can compel the executive to spend money that you haven't appropriated?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought we didn't want kings. Maybe we need king for a day. What do we need? I mean, that is literally a king, spending money that is not appropriated.
Judge is not a king.
No, you're turning the president into one if he can spend without appropriation.
Well, now,
look, you guys have been railing against Trump being authoritarian, having too much power, too much executive power. And at the same time, Democrats have been arguing that he should go out and spend money that has not been appropriated this year by Congress.
I just shows a huge flaw in tariff policy.
Would Congress have to approve that? Would Congress have to appropriate that?
Absolutely. It would seem to me, where's he going to get the money from?
Well, we've taken in billions of tariff revenue.
Well, right, but doesn't Congress hold the purse? So I guess the
Can't trust Congress with the
You
purse.
just told me in the last segment that a judge could tell the executive to spend money that hasn't been appropriated.
No, it has been appropriated.
It wasn't.
That's not what I said.
That's not what he said, Scott.
Sure it is. I asked him
that money.
Sounds like a conflict in the three branches of government there. Some people don't know their Constitution very well. CNN's Van Jones, Vigilant Fox writes, copes hard on air with a bizarre spin on Democrats caving to end the government shutdown. If you've ever wondered what cognitive dissonance looks like, this is it. Van Jones knows that Democrats folded and walked away empty-handed, but instead of admitting it, he says they should rejoice and take the win. Listen.
Pain Look, right now, Democrats are going to kick each other and tear each other up and be mad at each other. But when the smoke clears for most Americans, something has been proven here. Republicans are just not that into Americans right now. I mean, how much pain were the Republicans willing to let Americans suffer so they didn't have to? They're just not that into you, America. They were willing to let planes fall out the sky. They're willing to let children starve. They're willing to let federal workers get evicted from their houses rather than sit down and cut a deal on health care. Like everything that David Urban just said is correct. There's a smarter, better way to do health care. And an opportunity was put forward this past 6 weeks to sit down and talk about it. Republicans didn't do it. They were willing, Donald Trump and Republicans were willing to let planes fall out the sky and children starve before they came to the table. So when Democrats get finished beating themselves up, look at the tattoo you just put on the Republican Party. They don't care about your health care. And so I think take the win on this, Democrats, and keep moving. You had 7 million people in the streets. I'll give you your turn. You had 7 million people in the streets. That's a good thing. You kicked their butts last week when it comes to the vote. That's a good thing. And you just exposed these guys as not caring about regular Americans. I think that's a good couple of weeks for Democrats, but we're still going to be mad at each other about it.
How do these people live with themselves? The gaslighting off the chart from Van Jones, but I expect nothing less from him. Rand Paul, the only Republican to vote no on the shutdown funding bill. Here's the president 24 hours ago talking about Chuck Schumer and the Democrats thinking they could break the GOP.
Policy they have. He thought he could break the Republicans, and the Republicans broke him. But he did think that we have good policy, they have bad policy. And there's something, I don't know if it's Trump derangement or are they just crazed. They're like crazed lunatics. But, we have just great policy. We have good people. They have some good people, too. I know a lot of Democrats. They're not all crazy. They're not all. But you have some that are absolutely terrible. I look at this Crockett. This is a very low IQ person. And I look at somebody that comes from Somalia where they don't have anything. They don't have police. They don't have military. They don't have anything. All they have is crime. And she comes in and tells us how to run our country. The Constitution says this, the Constitution. The whole thing is crazy. I feel badly because I've known Chuck Schumer. I knew him when he was a person who loved Israel, and now he's a Palestinian. He's become a Palestinian. And it's amazing. I've never seen a politician change so much. Also, he doesn't have, he was a pretty talented guy. He's lost his talent. He thought he could break.
Chuck Schumer is a Palestinian now. Oh, my goodness. Caitlin Collins says, posting 20 hours ago, you're going to have a health care bill by the second week of December. GOP Senator Roger Marshall, we will. We've been working this very hard for several years. So the president himself delivered the final blow, standing before cameras. Trump declared what everybody knows. Schumer thought he could break the Republicans, and the Republicans broke him. We have good policy. They have bad policy. The shutdown is over. The Democrats caved. And Fetterman, he just became the first domino in what could be a mass exodus from the radical left. The great realignment has begun. So this is bigger than one senator's defection. We're watching the death throes of the Obama-Biden era and the birth of something new. When Democrats put illegal aliens before veterans, when they'd rather starve families and secure borders, they have sealed their fate. Fetterman saw it coming and he jumped ship. So who's next? The economic numbers don't lie. Trump's policies are working. Incomes are rising. American families are winning again. The swamp creatures can scream all they want, but their time is up. So here's my question. Let's have a conversation in the comments. Should Republicans accept Democrat defectors like Fetterman? Or is this just another establishment trick? Drop your answer in the comments because this story is far from over. The political realignment accelerates by the day. And remember, while the establishment crumbles, we've got your back with exclusive Next News gear at the link below. Stay vigilant, Patriots. The best is yet to come.